You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Are we on, folks? Did I miss it? Did I miss my cue not paying attention? Yeah. Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 371 of East Central's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, the man who won his first 5K over the weekend, beat all of the comers, Mr. Zach Burcham.
Yeah, it was like a 4.5K though.
That's awesome, dude.
It wasn't actually a full 5. It was a short course.
You still had him covered. You ran the distance like everybody else, and you won. So congratulations, first
all 4 people,
first competitive win. Is I think as the payout is concerned, there were like 25 people in it, so that's the official entry list, and you beat them all. You beat everybody that showed up.
Did you get a medal?
Yeah, everybody got a medal though.
Oh, so participation trophies.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
It was a charitable 5K.
We as long as you won for the kids. Betsy Mills is back, one of our all-time favorites. And his final appearance of 2024.
Correct.
Adam Harcourt, the guy that drives the big brown truck and got buried by packages, but somehow made it tonight.
A hero, honestly. I mean, you're bringing Christmas to everybody.
See, a hero, Jeremiah. A hero.
Yes, I agree.
Say it.
I mean, on my way home
you
today,
are a hero to some.
There was a stretch. There was a stretch for like 3 county roads along 70. There was a UPS truck, and I knew it wasn't the same truck because I was obviously going 75 this way. They were going in different directions. So I'm like, oh, they're everywhere today. They're all over.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. This is our big Thanksgiving episode is what this is going to be today. And we're going to have some fun with it. See where it goes. Got some sports lined up. A familiar face went viral today on national TV. And the biggest motorsports series in the world is getting an entry in Fishers, Indiana. All that's on tap. If you are a member of our Patreon, you just got yourself a nice 15 minutes of bonus coverage. Betsy, myself, with a join in progress by Bones. We talked fantasy football and what went horribly wrong in my betting world. And Bones said I should shut up and not complain because that's not going horribly wrong in betting. If you want to know what happened to him, patreon.com/BossHogOfLiberty at any level. Get the full details. You also get the show notes sent to you. And the Patreon app is really cool. When you're signed up, it will send you a push notification as soon as the Patreon episode is available. Comes straight into you, so you can get that through the Patreon app. You can listen on your RSS feed, all of the ways. $50 or more a month over there, you get your name and your business or your organization mentioned at the top of each and every episode. John Phillips over at Andy Moore Buick GMC in Fishers, Indiana, home to the Cadillac Formula One team. But all General Motors things do well. So he is the GM dealer in the GM town for the F1 program. It's incredible. If you need yourself a new Buick GMC, go see John. Varsity Outfitters is now open. I think 2 Saturdays in a row they've had the storefront open down there. Blake Reese on South Memorial Drive, and my dad Pops Recycle. The Schwinn bicycles, vintage bikes are available at their storefront in Rushville. I rolled through Rushville today, Bones. Yep. And I texted you.
Peaceful little town.
And I said, what is this creepy ass thing in front of? I just got a glimpse of it. I didn't really get to take a picture. I had to drive back to town 100 miles later, and as I finished my day, to actually get a real picture of it. I was like, it looks like a sculpture or something gigantic. It's probably 6 feet tall. And it's just a huge head in front of the farmer's market. And I'm like, this is creepy, man. What the hell is this? You have no idea. Not seen it.
It's haunted.
Yeah.
So I go back and I get a second picture. But Zach, do you have this? Did this picture come in on your phone?
Yes. It's.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell is this?
I'm not going to go look at it again because it's creepy.
I mean, it's not
This
that
is-
creepy.
This
It's a
is
head in a
scaring-
box.
So I'm like, what the hell? It's a present. I think it's supposed to be some sort of an elf. I don't know.
It's
Why does he have such
it's-
a weird mustache?
It's not an elvish head though.
I don't know what it is.
It's like a
Um,
mob hit gift. Like, hey,
It's kind of like a pirate.
here's Bobby's head in a box for you. Merry Christmas.
Zach, maybe I'll have you drop it in the Patreon group for these guys to see the thing.
It's literally haunted.
It looks like it's like a Pirates of the Caribbean character with a Santa hat on it, and it's coming out of a box, and the box is built on some sort of a pallet just so that you can transport it to Crazy Town. Up the street a little bit, I think there was another one, so it made more sense. I did find another one maybe toward City Hall. But it wasn't a head, it was like a reindeer or something. So I'm like, okay, this makes more sense when you see more than one together. But when I drove through town and it was the only thing I saw, I said, Rushville no longer feels welcoming. This didn't feel stellar. You thought maybe-
I don't know what it is. I really don't. I stay on the south side of town.
You're accountable for this.
yeah, I'm
Oh.
holding him responsible for.
If I'm accountable for this, we're in a lot of trouble.
He stays close to the bobolink, and other than
Yeah.
that, he has no.
I go buy Bob like twice a day
What is Bobolink?
at the liquor store in town. And Casey's. At Kroger.
You really do just stay on the south side of
I
Rushville.
really do.
You do not go north of 44.
Not often. Not very often. Unless we get a mezcal to eat. That's about it.
Okay. I added some.
There's no Walmart up there anymore. So
There's
what's the point
not.
going.
No.
But it's like a center.
Community center.
Is it cool?
It's not open yet.
open yet.
It's still under construction. We'll have Chris May back in here before too long to talk about that as they start to open. So, special thanks to all the patrons that are out there. I failed to write down the time we started this show, so I'm going to pretend like we've been on the air for about 10 years. I don't know.
It was about 3:15 or 8:15.
It's 3:15.
It's
Good
been a
God,
long
man.
Christ.
We are in overtime.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start paying extra money. So, holiday travel season. It's the Thanksgiving episode. I feel like this is a road trip. This is the week where I don't want to. I try not to get, and Betsy wants to get a little political at the end, and we will. But I try not to go too crazy with politics because I want people to
like you.
No, I don't care if they like me. I want people to be able to put this episode on in the car on the family road trip and just say, this is fun. This is what we're going to go do.
We invited me, remember?
Well, you brought bourbon.
I did bring bourbon.
You just-
I will
you
try. I will try to watch them out. We want the family to listen.
I think Betsy had a lot of fun the last time she was here too. So it happens. It's fine.
Yeah.
There are 346 million Americans. If you're a patron, you get the show notes sent to you with all these links. I threw this together sitting in the Walmart parking lot in Columbus, Indiana today. Nothing but the best for you folks. So there are 346 million Americans. I don't know if that's documented or non-documented, but we'll say 346 million Americans.
You said political, huh?
Well, I try not to be too political.
For a few more weeks.
Yeah, we'll check back around January 26th, and we'll see if we're down to 305 million. So 80 million of those people are said to be traveling at least 50 miles from home for the holiday. And it's expected, AAA says that there will be double the normal traffic Saturday and Sunday on the roads. So Betsy, you did the big road trip today.
I did.
To get back
about
back
100.
home for the holiday.
Yeah, about 150 miles.
I did like 185 miles in the car today.
Oh.
But I'm right back where I started.
It was pretty congested, but I drove down 69, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, we got there.
Any
but
horn honks today?
Anyway,
Horn honks? Did you have to honk at all?
no.
Get out of my way.
No, Krista did once.
Smith-
There was somebody who was sort of in the lane.
Were they Illinois or Ohio drivers?
Oh, that's probably Ohio.
Yeah.
Those Buckeyes.
I don't know. The fibs, man. Freaking Illinois bastards. They are in the way. If you get up north of Lafayette, the Chicago drivers are in the way all the time. So double the traffic coming Saturday and Sunday. I've got like a 5-hour road trip tomorrow and then like another 4 hours into Atlanta on Thursday morning, but I'm expecting it to be pretty reasonable. That Sunday coming back though is just terrible. That's what I'm worried about.
It's I'm amazed. My family's in town. Everybody's here. My sister and her family from San Francisco. My other sister from New York City. Their Congress people are AOC and Nancy Pelosi. Without editorial comment, just noting a fact. Mine's Greg Pence. Pretty happy with that.
I saw his office today.
Oh,
His office is it's very international. It's right next to the Thai kitchen in Columbus, or Tepi Thai or Thai Tong.
Briggs a real one. I like him a lot. But anyway, like
Never met him.
Ooh,
he's a good dude.
I've never heard him talk. Sorry.
No comment. He's been good to us locally. That's all I'll say. I and haven't had I didn't mean to make this about Greg Pence. I just think he's a good guy, and he's fun. He'll curse. He's a Marine. He'll drink a beer. Like he's like Mike, but fun. I don't know that Mike
sounds like a hell of a guy.
Is the unbuttoned version of Mike Pence.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. That wasn't part of the. So my sister Mandy flew in last Thursday. No problems. Direct from New York. And then my sister Abby and her family flew in yesterday morning. They made it from San Francisco. No problems. And I'm just blown away by that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I never want to fly again.
So the TSA is saying that this is going to be like their 10 busiest days in history are all going to be this year. And 18 million screenings are expected this week, which means 9 million of our 346 million citizens or habitants, aliens, whatever we are, 9 million are supposed to travel this week. That's a crazy number. It's crazy. I'm so glad I'm not trying to get on an airplane in Atlanta, because that was like the number one airport that was on the list of passengers that are going to come through. Was going to be Atlanta. So all of that to say, it's always a big story every year, like the travel story. And I wake up to Boss Hog alumni Mark Brim, who left us to go be a farmer, an organic grain farmer and cattle farmer in Garrettson, South Dakota. Mark hasn't been on the show in 4 years. Sarah and I went and visited him last year on our quest through South Dakota. Mark decided he was going to join the local ABC, NBC, Fox, UPN, and CBS affiliate. Believe it or not, it actually is the four major networks are all the same station. Dakota News Now in Sioux Falls or Sioux City, whichever the northern one is. The northern one of the two. One is down south by Nebraska, and the other one is up north by Minnesota. He's in the northern city. So he's giving his local broadcast of all his Thanksgiving tips, and the Jimmy Fallon show grabs it today, and it is on their Twitter account, and they took Mark's name and everything, and I think it's a voiceover guy. Zach thinks that it's actually Mark's bit. I think they took what he did and adapted it to Jimmy Fallon, which the best part of that is to me that they took Mark's voice and they found a voice actor to sound like Mark Brim.
Well, I just thought that the content of the jokes seems very Mark Brim. So I'd like to know if he wrote it. I'd like to know to what point was he invested in this. I'm actually reading his bio on dakotanewsnow.com.
You pull that up and read it to us, and I'll try to get the audio queued up over here myself.
It says originally from Richmond, Indiana, Mark and his wife Shuva, along with their two sons Elliot and Cosmo, moved from Richmond, Indiana to Garrettson, South Dakota in 2021. This transition allowed them to start a new chapter in life, learning about sustainable agriculture on Mark's father-in-law's organic farm. Prior to moving to South Dakota, Mark started broadcasting at WQLK, WHON in Richmond right out of high school, hosting an evening country music request show and filling in regularly on the AM talk station. I'd like to hear some of those tapes.
Kicks 96, baby.
Yeah. Through hosting a talk show, he developed his own love of telling stories and engaging with listeners in eccentricities, and went on to the multimedia specialist in the marketing and communications department at Earlham College in Richmond, telling the stories of students, faculty, and staff at the college for many years, as well as working part-time at the local radio station in Richmond. In his spare time, he enjoys helping out a ton on the farm, tending to the chickens and goats, as well as assisting his wife's large garden and developing their homestead. He also has an unhealthy obsession with 1973 to 1987 Chevy pickup trucks and watching reruns of the Rockford Files. That last paragraph, everything you need to know about that is watch his YouTube channel, because you know about his love of the square bodies and the Rockford Files.
The Clueless Farmer is the YouTube channel. All right, here we go.
Yep.
See if this works.
Record number of Americans traveling this week. The local news offered a lot of helpful travel tips. Take a look at this.
Close to 80 million people will be traveling this Thanksgiving, so here are some travel tips to make things a little easier. Pack lightly, check in online to save time at the airport, use Uberpool to practice spending time with people you barely know and don't like. Get to the airport 3 hours early so you're well prepared for your 6-hour delay. Turn to your spouse in the TSA line and say, "Can't we just tell your parents we got sick?" Pay a flight attendant $20 to kick you off the flight and ban you from flying. Get into a brawl on Black Friday so you can enjoy one night of good sleep at a local jail. Accept your fate, and remember, Christmas is only 3 weeks away.
So I think they hired, the best part of that is I think they've hired a voice actor to pretend to be Mark Brim. I told Zach before we started the show, I said, of all the Boss Hog alums that have been here, he would have not been in my top 3 most likely to have made an appearance on Jimmy Fallon's show. Brett Terhune, Joey Molinaro, Ben Polizzi, any of those guys would have been likely to end up there, but not Mark. We'll see how it shakes out.
It's pretty solid advice, honestly.
It is.
Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah.
So what's Thanksgiving look like for you guys? Bones, you gonna get all 3 football games watched?
Nope.
You have 1, 2, 3 Thanksgiving meals. What's the day look like?
Her daughter's coming over first thing in the morning. After that, then we have to hightail it to Columbus, Ohio.
So you are going to be one of those that goes over 50 miles.
This is the first time ever. So this is new. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But I'll come home that night, and then I go to work on Friday.
So a 2-hour commute either way.
2.5.
Oh yeah, from your house, yes. For mine, 2 hours. For you, 2.5.
Yeah.
Even worse. What time are you doing the proposal? Just the look on his face.
Yeah, he looks haunted. I've used that word like 3 times, but that was a jump scare.
And then he walked out.
You all have a great year. I'm out.
So 2 Thanksgivings.
I don't know.
Do you know what to expect? Yeah, 2 meals. I guess you just pick one up. Pick her up, and then you go over. Do you know? It's the first time you've gone over this. You don't know what the traditional meals are.
Oh, I know what the traditional meals are.
Turkey.
I mean, turkey. There will be turkey. There will be mashed potatoes. There will be sausage gravy.
Oh,
no, not sausage gravy. Not sausage gravy. Sausage dressing.
Okay.
Oyster dressing.
Oh, they do the oyster dressing.
Oh,
dressing.
there is a fight for oyster dressing.
4 oyster dressing.
Yes, between 4 of us.
Okay.
We'll probably have a salad of some sort, cranberry sauce, wine, and bourbon.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Betsy, what's thanks? You've got all the siblings together.
Yeah, the gang's all home, and that's really nice to have everybody back.
Is Miss Sally the official cook for the thing? So everybody gets to show up?
She is, and she's like so traditional. Like we break out the good china, which is really nice stuff. And of course, she'll make big turkey, mashed potatoes, obviously.
Not from the box, the real boiling potatoes.
That's not allowed at the farm.
Potatoes you all grew?
No, but a couple years ago, I actually did grow potatoes that I harvested and ate around Thanksgiving. So anyway, obviously mashed potatoes, obviously turkey gravy. But Mom also makes from the turkey juice egg noodles, and they're my grandma's recipe. She's long gone, but the noodles are absolutely clutch.
So egg noodles with a sauce, so it's like
yeah, and I like them really saucy. So you put that on your potatoes, then you got your peas. So the turkey, potatoes, noodles, and peas. Like for me, that's where it's at. I
don't think we understand how regional that dish is. Noodles with gravy,
yeah,
and then mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
like that is as Midwestern as it gets.
Yeah, Craig
DaCosta is listening to this in Hawaii right now, but his mind blown.
I just saw a post today that was about like somebody's family was from Indiana, and like they make noodles with like egg noodles. And they're like, is that a thing? They put them on their mashed potatoes, and they're like, because it was, you could tell for this person, it was not a thing, but their spouse had brought this into the relationship as a Thanksgiving thing.
What a wonderful gift
just
to bring.
carb on carb.
Yeah.
Oh my good Lord.
Starchy mashed potatoes with a flour and egg noodle, and then we take turkey juice and then thicken it up with more flour
It slaps. It's so good.
Also, if I had corn,
and salt. Yes.
if I had corn,
It's going to slap you to sleep, is what it's going to do.
It's going to help you get through that Bears game, Bears Lions.
if I had corn, I'd throw corn on the top of that too and just mix it all together.
Oh
Just
yeah.
all the carbs.
Oh yeah.
Totally off topic, but there's a place called the Hoosier Cafe in Arizona. It is an Indiana themed restaurant.
What?
So we're just selling pork tenderloins.
It's tenderloins.
Yeah, I was gonna
it's
say,
it's like the Manhattans, sugar cream pie. I looked it up, and it's just all Indiana comfort food.
So that sounds right on.
So I'm like,
far.
this, if this is not on the menu, it needs to be on the menu.
There.
Yes.
It
Yes.
took- it
Do
took
they
a-
have pizzas with nacho cheese? Because I found I
nacho is. I think I've talked about this on the show. Nacho cheese with breadsticks or with pizza is a very uniquely Midwestern thing because you get into the South and they have no
No.
idea
It's
what
all
you're
red
talking
sauce.
about.
it's a Indiana thing
Thing.
plus Northwest Ohio.
It-
And you drive across the border, they have no idea what you're talking about, and they think you're stupid. So I've tried to encourage friends. I brought Pizza King to friends and given them, and I'm like, eat it with the nacho cheese, and they think I'm a heathen.
My brother for a while lived in North Carolina, and he figured out the only way he could get nacho cheese with breadsticks with Pizza Hut was to go to the Pizza Hut / Taco Bell's and order the cheese on the Taco Bell side and the pizza stuff on Pizza Hut. So yeah, he said the first time I looked at it or tried to order it, they looked at me like I was absolutely like a monkey,
Yeah.
just trying to do
When I was at
nacho.
Penn State, I discovered very quickly no nacho cheese, and they have no idea what biscuits and gravy are, which was absolutely devastating
really?
to me. Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was universal.
No.
So I've ordered. This is the most out of water thing ever. When I've been on a cruise and ordered biscuits and gravy, and it's just like a long sausage, like a sausage link cut in half with weird white gravy on top and a biscuit. I'm like, this is like
That's not
aliens read a recipe and thought this is what it's supposed to be, and then they just missed it completely.
Okay. I need a website where I can click on food on a food item and it shows me where, because I've like been to the South and biscuits and gravy in the South is a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a Southern food.
Yeah, and that's a
So,
part
like-
of Indiana being kind of tangentially southern. So the Hoosier Cafe, Chandler, Arizona, they on their menu, they've just now added a good tenderloin. This is where I discovered it was on Facebook. But half order biscuits and gravy, pancakes, eggs Benedict, Belgian waffle. It's all stuff that feels super normal to us because it's our food, right? You wouldn't think this is what they would be having there. Pancakes, onion rings. Obviously, the onion rings are huge here in Newcastle. Chicken fried steak and eggs, patty melts, an omelet, chicken and waffles, Philly cheesesteak, which, you go to the Hoosier restaurant for the Philly cheesesteak, there's something wrong with you.
Or the chicken and waffles. That's a Nashville thing.
Yeah. Once
think
again,
it's
I
really
still
expanding.
think that's kind of in the... I feel like that's still that southern tangential side where stuff's just coming up.
That feels like an appropriated dish is what that feels like. Cultural appropriate chicken and waffles because it's like a weird.
I think it's really easy to make in a restaurant. You can fry chicken and you can make a waffle, so it's an easy one to turn out and be like, yeah, this fits.
That's a very
This
good
fits
point.
the profile. Zach, how many Thanksgivings for the Burchams this year?
Technically 3, I guess, but one of them's a breakfast. My in-laws think it's a great idea to have a nice big breakfast.
Wow.
No way you can
That's when they plan out
shove in
their
all the meals.
Black Friday. So I get up, I have a 5K in the morning, like a fun run, and then I head up there, and then they plan out the Black Friday. And
Does anybody call it anything other than a turkey trot, or they always call it a turkey trot?
The Broader Bowl one is huge. It's called the Drumstick Dash. It's huge. It's like
That's when you know that a family takes fitness seriously, when they choose to do a 5K or a mini marathon.
I've heard that that's like one of those things that for
On
people it's
Thanksgiving.
like a nightmarish thing to marry into a family that does that. Nobody else in my family does it, but I do.
You're the
gets me
black
out.
sheep of the family.
What?
You're the black sheep.
Yeah, kind of. I guess
Your brother's done the mini a time or two.
he's done that drumstick dash
Yeah.
once. He did it once. The drumstick dash, if you have the chance and you're in Central Indiana, go do it once because it's thousands of people in Broad Ripple. The mayor's there. You'll see like IndyCar drivers. All kinds. It's 4.6 miles. It's a little long. It's not 5K, but we used to do it. It's very much like the mini. They're starting corrals, but by the time you get over there, do it and then come back, it's like feels like you're halfway done with the day. And she was missing breakfast and my kid was miserable the last time, so I stick to the local 5Ks now. Shirley has one. The Y has one. Big race day.
because we're traveling 9 hours or whatever it is to get to our Thanksgiving, I think we're going to roll in on Thanksgiving Day probably 11 o'clock, noon, somewhere in there, and just be in time. The nice thing is that when you travel like that, you're not really responsible for preparing the meal, so you just roll in and get to eat.
So you're going to Atlanta. Who are you visiting?
Sarah's family.
Okay.
So it's the one holiday that Sarah's family gets. So her grandmother is still with us, and her aunts and uncles will be down there. So
That's cool.
All of my mother-in-law's family.
So you're literally going to be in the South. What does that Thanksgiving look like compared to one here?
They will have collard greens, which is cool. That's always one of like the premium things. But there's a lot of Hoosiers that come down too. So Sarah's late Uncle John always made the oyster stuffing, and I would be very critical of it. I would pass over it, but sometimes you can't tell. You can't tell this oyster unless you get down. Nobody wants to see you go down and sniff to see if it's the oyster stuffing or not. But they'll make an oyster version and a non-oyster
Do you
version.
not like oyster dressing?
No.
You're invited to my Thanksgivings all the time. I need more people that don't like it.
Take the non. Yeah.
It's at ours, but I don't touch it either.
It's just odd. Deviled eggs are always like a controversial thing too. People are like, oh God, no, not the deviled eggs. And it feels like 80% of the people are like, yes, absolutely, give me them.
I have to exert self-control around deviled eggs because they're like bite size. They literally just go down.
And they are one bite.
One bite, yeah.
It's only half an egg.
Mr. Westling, they are one bite.
Yeah.
Me and him have a huge debate about this.
Jeff Westling?
Yes, he thinks we have to eat it with knife and fork.
What?
No,
they're not. They're bite size.
This is why he lost. This is why he lost his
What a
political
barbarian!
race.
Yeah,
because politicians get in trouble when they show up and they don't know how to order a sandwich, and if you get caught eating eating an egg with a knife and a fork like that's career ending.
Yeah, that's one bite. There's no two bites. We're not biting it in half.
This is it's the secret Betsy doesn't want anybody to know is that she was caught eating a pizza backwards, and that's why she lost her race with the She ate crust first.
Yeah,
and that was it.
That was the first time I'd ever seen pizza.
It was very unfortunate. One bad time in Shelby County.
That's definitely
it was the end of the career.
Completely understandable.
That was it.
Yeah. Took me out.
Just wanted that crust.
You don't deserve it at that point.
I pretty much rip off the crust and just go for the good stuff. But okay, so you killed me. Now I'm thinking about sausage gravy and how I would incorporate that in Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Because it's universal. Like to me,
I mean, if you put on the buffet biscuits and gravy, who's going to pass over it?
Nobody.
Like if it's
nobody
there,
with that sense of.
But sausage dressing is not universal.
I'm not familiar with that.
That's an Italian thing.
Okay, it sounds good. I want to talk about a pie to person ratio.
See, I won't touch a pie, so you guys have all at it.
I feel like every time that's one of the because we travel from Indiana, I will often get suckered in by my friends to buy pies from their kids. It's usually a Wix pie of some sort. I like the Wix sugar-free cream pie. I'll bring that to be an Indiana thing, or I'll buy a peanut butter pie. Personally, if I'm just going to get a pie, it's like a pecan pie. I'm all about it. Or chocolate pecan pie, even better. So we'll usually bring a pie or two, and that'll be our contribution. 99% of the time, we bring the pie, and somebody has already baked 2 or 3, and I brought a store-bought pie, and nobody touches the damn thing. It happens every time where I'll bring a pie, and I'll be, all right, here's our effort. And then I'm like, I don't know why I brought it at all, because nobody ate it. Or I took a bite of the peanut butter pie, and that was it. I feel like you probably only need, like if you have 20 people, maybe 3 pies, because not that many people actually go get it, at least amongst our crowd. I feel like we end up with 8 or 10 pies, and then maybe 3 get eaten, or half of 3. They don't even get broken into. What do you think?
I mean, I come from a skewed point of view because I was raised by a woman, my mom, Sally Mills. She's classy and perfect. She got a new Cadillac today. Well, new for her, but it's really sharp. Anyway,
feels like an episode of Seinfeld.
She's a pie monster. Like last night, she and my sister were having a bit of a tiff because my sister said, don't cut open the pecan and pumpkin pie. And I'm like, Mom's 74. She's had her birthday. Like, why are you let the woman do what she wants? Like, who cares? It's not like we wait for the day to eat the pie. And I was like, well, what about all the other pies, Mom? And she's like, well, that's it. For 6 adults and 2 kids, 2 pies. Those pies, can almost guarantee they're gone now because
See, this is FOMO because you just got to town.
I
You were off doing other things.
honestly, I'm not a dessert person anymore. I'm not a sugar person. I'm not saying that to be an elitist. It's just not my diet. But like my family, and then we're gonna have to go to the grocery and get like 5 more pies at least.
You need 5 more pies.
Oh, probably. I'm not even exaggerating.
I think you guys consume more pie than the average household.
I think that must be true. Yeah,
I feel like that everybody gorges on so much, but it's also you get like I don't know how many folks have getting together. Our group will probably be 20 to 30 people eating in a garage, and it's those people are together maybe for 2 or 3 hours. So they eat the main meal, and then sometimes they'll hit the dessert, sometimes they won't, and then a lot of folks scatter.
Sure.
So then they're not there to eat the pies, and the pie. You're right. The pie does like last all weekend. Like Phones for you. Your Ohio crowd, you're going to be out delivering boxes on Saturday or Friday.
They can have all,
and they're going to be eating the pies without you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's the way it's going to go down.
Yep.
The pies are for those that are left behind, not those that just flew in for a minute.
Sure. Well, and the ones who got there early. So I just know those pies are gone. We're just going to have to go to Kroger and get more, and that's okay.
One of our side dishes is a sweet potato casserole that has a crust on it that seems to have all the sugar in the world, and I think it defers some dessert because it's so sweet.
Do they put the marshmallows on top of it?
Not yet. There's one that does and one that doesn't, but this one's like I think it's like pecans or crushed, but it's by the time it cools off, it's got so much sugar in it, it gets crunchy.
We have
very delightful.
I have a vendor in Mississippi, southern Mississippi, that makes a product that I buy from them. And every single year I get a box that's probably 5 pounds of fresh pecans.
Is it pecans or pecans?
Pecans.
Okay.
I call it pecans. Or it's pecan pie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a regional tomato.
Yep.
Tomato. Pecans grow in southwestern Indiana. It's the northernmost portion you get. Right down at Harmony State Park. You can there's pecan trees.
That's amazing.
It is. You would not think I'm telling you, Indiana is the South, and we just do. It's a secret we keep from people.
I mean, the southern part of the state is Kentucky. I mean, it's just totally different.
We have
Culturally.
we have 3 different versions of Indiana depending upon where you are. So every year these people will send me pecans, and we don't go through nearly enough of them. So Sarah will take them, break them down, freeze them. And this year she's starting to make cookies for Thanksgiving. She's been working on them all week.
Do you ever fry them?
She did like candied pecans this week, so they like baked a bunch of them, and they're almost sugared.
Okay.
And then there are like some pecan bars she did as well. And then I think maybe there'll be. I don't know if we'll do them this now, but at least for Christmas there'll be some pecan pies too.
All right, I'm gonna blow your minds. Skillet, butter, pecans, crush them up a bit, stir it around so they get toasted.
Yep.
Add salt. Unbeatable.
Just eat straight up.
You can do that with almonds.
Put them on anything.
Yeah.
Salad topping, ice cream.
Well, I haven't really done it with pecans. It's usually almonds for me. But I think we've done walnuts. Anyway, it would still be the same thing. It's gonna slap. It's gonna be really good. Imagine snacking on pecans.
Oh yeah, sugared. Yeah, absolutely. I totally see it. Way better than a boiled peanut that they'll try to serve you down in Georgia. What do you guys skip over? Is there something you're like, yep, nope? For you, it's pie, Bones.
I'm just not a dessert eater, so I don't care about. I mean, during the meal, it's probably the sweet potato or yams or whatever you want to call it.
Just no sweet potato.
No, we're going to pass on that. We got other stuff to knock out.
Oyster dressing in the green bean casserole.
You always have salacious things to say about
green bean casserole.
Green bean. Have you ever tried it, or you
we've
just
never had green bean casserole?
No, it's because it looks like something that went through somebody's nasal cavity after they got a sinus infection.
Well, maybe you need a new recipe.
They all look the same.
My family has never once had green bean casserole.
I like green beans. I just don't ever eat green bean casserole.
The fried onions are amazing.
Oh my god!
I'm not a big onion guy. As an adult, I've learned to deal with onions at times.
But the fried onions are mostly fried.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
You have no use for them on your McRib either?
No. Oh, no. Not like that kind of.
White Castle?
The only onions I can kind of deal with are I never really like White Castle. First of all, I don't deal with soggy bread. In White Castle, no. And so, it's when I bite into them. It's awful. I can kind of deal with onion straws, Kreider's onion rings. I can deal with those.
Funyuns?
What?
Funyuns?
Never had a Funyun.
Okay.
I mean, I just learned to deal with onions is like in my 30s. I could not handle them on anything.
A lot of major growth. Some people pay off student
Don't
loans
care.
in their 30s, buy a house, get married,
Start a family.
have the family. Zach, I started adapting to onions.
After many years of
In
therapy.
his 40s, Brussels sprouts.
I just learned to deal with onions because you're going to get them on your burger anyway because fast food people just don't care. So,
Yeah. All right. Bones, you want to lead us through sports?
Sure.
Did you enjoy Saturday watching the Indiana Hoosiers football team?
Didn't watch him.
You didn't watch? Betsy, did you watch the Hoosiers and IU play?
Yeah, I woke up.
I feel like you're a flag waving Hoosier in any way.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. So my mom has two brothers. My mom's from Northwest Ohio, Findlay. One of her
The
brothers,
flag city.
that's right. One of her brothers is a diehard Ohio State fan, and his sons are everybody in that family is diehard Ohio State. The other brother is a Michigan Wolverine. His whole family's Michigan. They have season tickets. And so, we've always watched them battle back and forth. But this year, obviously, the Hoosiers have been, kicking ass. And anyway, we were a family divided. So the Ohio State gang did their thing, and then the Wolverines and Hoosiers united. And I felt good about that. And the game sucked, though. I was so excited. I got up at I woke up too early, but I watched the 3 or 4 hours of game day, and they score the first touchdown, first drive. They take it all the way down, and you're feeling good.
They had a perfect start. I think they stopped Ohio State on their first drive, got the ball, went down, scored a touchdown flawlessly.
Yeah,
it started out well.
It felt really good. Vibes were good, and then Ohio State was like, just kidding.
That alarm went off and the dream was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were actually in an Indianapolis bar for the first half of that game. We were in Speedway for the IMS sale, and we rolled in at like noon, right at noon, got seated, and things were looking really good. The place was lively, it was exciting, drinks were flowing, food was coming out. Got that lead, and then it just kind of slipped away. And then I think it was 14-7 at the half, and then there was just no life left in IU in the second half. So they've got Purdue this week in the Oak and Bucket game, and if IU wins, they should get to go into the college football playoff. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit. If you guys have the show notes, there's a link in there that takes you to a USA Today article. So they expanded the college football playoff to 12 teams, and the playoff this year is going to include some historic bowl games. So they're not. The way this works out is it's like the second round and the third round of the playoff are the bowl games. So it's very confusing as to it used to be if you're a Big Ten school, one of the classic Big Ten schools, it was when did you last make the Rose Bowl? Now the bowls don't make a damn bit of sense, and it's very confusing to know who's going where and what means what.
The conference alignment is just absolutely stupid.
Didn't I hear but that you could there was a team whose seeding would go up if they lost because of somehow they would become like conference championship would actually drop them down, or there was some weird stuff where like if a team won, they would be like a 4 seed or like an 8 seed, but if they lost, they jump to a 4 because they would be something
if
weird.
You're a conference champion, you get to be in the top 4. But say the number 1 and 2 teams in the country are both from the same conference, then you would probably be like a play-in. So I could see say theoretically you get 2 Big Ten teams and somebody makes the Big Ten championship game but then loses that, then maybe they would drop down further than if they had.
There was some weird stuff with the seeding based on the conference.
It's extremely confusing. Everybody has like their rivalry. Ohio State and Michigan will play this week. IU and Purdue are going to play. And then you'll have 2 teams from the Big Ten. They're going to play in the Big Ten championship game a week from Saturday, I guess.
That's going to be a good game.
In downtown Indianapolis. Probably going to be Ohio State and Oregon, I guess. Unless Michigan wins, and then you would see a Penn State or somebody sneak in there. So the bowl games that are going to be in there now are the Cotton Bowl, which is down in Texas, the Orange Bowl, which is in Florida. Fiesta Bowl is Arizona?
Correct.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Georgia.
Correct.
Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Sugar Bowl
New Orleans
is in New Orleans. All right. And then they'll be back in Atlanta for the college football championship Monday, January 20th. The classic Monday night college football championship game. So the first round games are going to be December 20th and 21st. So it'll be a Friday and Saturday. There's 4 of them. and they're going to be in the stadiums of the teams. So it's not going to be in bowl games. It's going to be on the home. Whoever is the home team for the playoff is going to get to host it, which is crazy good. I think they've got some buys. So there's 12 teams going in. So if you're like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th team, you're going to get to host.
That's pretty awesome for
So
them.
say you are Penn State. Somebody is going to have to travel, maybe an SEC team, a Tennessee, a Florida, somebody like that is going to have to travel up to Happy Valley and play in the cold.
I've been there. I still work for them. I just don't live there. But Beaver Stadium is freaking gigantic, second biggest stadium. And those crowds are hostile. And I went on a whiteout night versus Ohio State with my cousin, who's a diehard Ohio State fan, and he got shit talked more that night than any other game I've ever been at. And I went to a Colts playoffs game in Baltimore, so that's saying something.
Notre Dame probably is going to end up hosting one of these games as well. And that's Bones. That's the part I'm excited about, is that like you're going to have these Southern teams having to play outside in bad weather. That's something you just don't see in football because we're normally done after this weekend.
Correct.
And now you're going to have college football being played. Say you have a Wisconsin have an incredible year or a Minnesota have an incredible year. You could very well have a foot of snow on the ground and have in some of these places, Colorado, and have some crazy college games that you've never seen that before, which
and the SEC
is not built for this.
Don't travel north.
Speaking of weather, did you guys catch the Steelers Browns game last week?
Yep.
That was an instant classic. Al Michaels lost it. Like, he was just beside himself by the end because it was just one of the most dramatic games I've ever seen. And it went from like lightly falling to like hardcore snow.
We had a Colts Bills game that was like that.
Oh, yeah.
About 6 years ago. The Colts were on the road whites and they just disappeared.
It's fun to watch. And there were some outrageous plays made in that snow. Just catches. Jameis Winston running it in.
So we're going to be counter-programming January 9th when Bones' first episode back with us. The Orange Bowl will be that night, the semifinal. So they're going to have the quarterfinals are going to be the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl, and that's going to be New Year's weekend. So New Year's Eve, you're going to have a Fiesta Bowl, and then 3 New Year's Day games. The following weekend, you'll have the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, which gets you into the national championship. And they're going to do that on a Thursday and a Friday. So they're going to get like 10 days off.
The first 4 teams, top 4 teams get a bye?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it's basically going to be your 4 conference champions, which, forgive me, but I assume that's going to be Oregon. I don't know. Betsy may have this better than I do.
Your Big 10, your Big 12,
Yeah.
SEC. ACC?
So the miscellaneous bucket team. I don't know who's projected to be there. I'm sure Zach's looking right
Miami.
now as we're peeking.
Miami's the best ACC team.
Yeah. So they won't have to travel because they'll be in that top 4. But whoever your second place SEC team is, the Georgia or the Clemson.
Georgia's SEC.
Clemson is ACC, right?
Clemson's ACC.
Yeah.
Georgia's SEC.
Yeah. So those
you might want to get this straight before you go down there with these people.
I know this part. They're playing. Georgia is playing at home on Friday night against Georgia Tech in Athens. I've elected not to go and attend.
Why not?
Have you looked at the weather?
Oh, you poor thing.
Have you looked at the weather?
What's it going to be?
It's going to be like 37 degrees in Athens.
In Georgia?
I'm not. Yeah, I know. It's BS, Betsy. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a different 37 down there.
Yes.
It's a balmy 37.
It's a dry heat. It's the heat that's been keeping Jimmy Carter alive.
Atlanta's always been over
Oh
the
my
dry
gosh.
heat.
Jimmy Carter, bless his heart. He looks like
An old man.
He looks like a really old man who's also on an Ozempic offender. Like, I just want him to have peace, but he's scary to look at right now. He looks like Al Davis. Like, at the end of his life, Al Davis just scared the hell out of him.
Al Davis on hospice just decided to move the team to Vegas.
Yeah,
his son really did. All right, that's your college football playoff preview. Betsy, Pacers. You're wearing your Pacers hat. You're repping them.
Yeah,
it's been a disappointing start to the season.
They've been touch and go. Halliburton has had some really brilliant performances, and then he's had games where he should have shown up better. But I believe in him. I really like the kid. I think he's got all the talent in the world, and I like his smile. He's just I don't know. I find him very, very charming. And we need somebody to, support and be the face of the team since Reggie. So I'm amped for that. It's fun to see I have Fever season tickets. It's fun to see, and I re-upped for next year. It's fun to see a lot of the Fever players there on the sidelines, including Caitlin Clark. I read some stat. I was trying to find it. I can't find it. Maybe Zach can, but Towriss and Caitlin are actually really good friends. And whatever I read today said that when she's in attendance at Pacers games, his performances are statistically better, which I think is hilarious. So
There's a scandal there somewhere.
nah, they're just friends.
I'm just catching the chat here. Bobby Steele says his hot take is that sweet potato casserole is a side, not a dessert.
That's why I said it is. It's
Yeah.
a side. It's a side, but it's so
Well,
sweet.
I don't
that
think we ever said it was a dessert.
No, I said it to me in our things. I think some people back off dessert a little bit because they just had sweet potato casserole, which has dessert level sugar content.
And my wonderful bride is telling everybody to text Alona to some number for Dancing with the Stars for her for somebody to win.
Well, hold on.
But I think it's already over.
is
I think it
pretty
was
badass.
8-9. Is she the Olympian?
Yeah, so she was the girls team got third in rugby, which was unexpected, and she's like this internet superstar, and she's
Pommel horse guy out? Is he still alive?
I don't know, but he's a Penn State student. I kind of want to like hunt him down. Anyway,
Hunt him down?
I mean, hunt him down.
That sounded wrong on a lot of levels.
Okay, let me back that up.
Great.
I would like to meet him.
That's trouble for faculty.
Okay, well, I'm pretty gay, so I think we're in the clear there.
We were going with that. I was going like this is like a safety factor.
Yeah, I
Hunt him down.
I come in peace. No, I loved him too. He was oh my gosh, the memes. But no, I would love to track him down when I'm on campus and high five him. I don't know. I was just proud of him. I was proud of him repping Penn State, and Ilona Maher she's just so freaking adorable. I don't watch any of these stupid reality shows, but I hope she wins.
It's obvious that Penn State is now the number one team in gymnastics in the Big Ten, moving past Michigan State and their stellar record that was unblemished in any way until the last 15 years.
And Penn State has an epic wrestling program as well.
Penn
Coach
State
Cal.
and Ohio State, their wrestling programs are both noted for having no troubles whatsoever, much like football.
God, that's dark.
Anything else? Anywhere else we could touch on?
Are we trying to get to Jim Jordan or
Yeah, Penn State wrestling, right?
no, Ohio State?
It's Ohio State
Yeah.
wrestling. Yes, he represents Findlay, Ohio. By the way,
Does it?
yes, I do believe so. The Flag City. Just reach out and touch it.
Did not know that.
I'm 85% sure that Jim Jordan represents Findlay. 85. We'll check it right now.
Check it.
If it's not him, then who? Bob Latta. Bob Latta is what comes up first. Who's the congressman from Findlay, Ohio? Yeah, Bob Latta. Well, I tried.
When the
It's very close. But was there redistricting bones? We don't know.
probably
It was 2 years, just 2 years away.
I don't remember that ever being a thing, but I could be wrong.
It is possible that Jim Jordan represents Marion, Ohio.
Yeah,
Troy.
isn't it more central?
Troy. It's like Dayton. He's right here. Damn near right here. I clicked the wrong thing. You ever click the wrong thing and have instant regret? Bones, I'm sure Bones does.
Yeah, now it's about you being weird.
Oh, listen, I have had several times. Oops, wrong. We clicked that one too fast.
Clear history.
Clear.
Clear.
Back.
Undo.
Why is this phone frozen?
Now it's just stuck. I'm checking this, and I think that if it's not Findlay, I've missed it by 5 miles or 10 miles. On
Yeah, that's
I-75.
actually quite close.
It's right there.
Yeah,
I'm taking that as half of a win. I think on redistricting, I lost the battle.
potentially. You're really not far off. That's a stone's throw from Findlay. So
it's like saying, "Oh, Newcastle, Indiana, isn't that where the that lady is woman?" And you're like, no, it's Victoria Sparks of Muncie and Pendle. It's the same area, the same general area. Zach, you want to talk about the big news in motorsports?
Yeah. So apparently there's rumors all weekend have been confirmed. Formula One has approved Cadillac to enter Formula One as a constructor and as a team in 2026, which is a bit crazy because they've been trying to make a bid for like a year and a half, 2 years, and they keep getting told no. And then Michael Andretti goes into some weird form of retirement, and then they ink the deal like a month and a half later.
As soon as he removes his name from the team, they're open arms, and it's come on in, come all comers.
I wanted to bring him right back.
So this is going to be the program that Michael Andretti and Dan Towriss had started. Dan Towriss is the CEO of Group 1001. Biggest name in that is Gainbridge, the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indy 500 presented by Gainbridge. Massive motorsport sponsorships with Andretti Global, which now they're still calling it Andretti Global, right?
I believe so, yeah. I haven't actually heard what the team name is called, because everything I've heard is referred to Cadillac has been
Cadillac F1.
Yeah.
So this is, in my view, Dan Towriss he's like turned into bajillionaire. Dan Towriss might be on his way to being the most famous Ball State alum since David Letterman.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know this name at all, and I feel like I should.
He is a massive sponsor out at the Speedway, to the point where, Zach, we were like, who's this parking spot? That's right next to the pagoda.
So when you go into the pagoda, one side there's vendors, there's a tunnel that comes out adjacent to the pagoda plaza, and on the other side there are parking spaces, and the parking spaces all have, or most of them have, initialed if they're reserved. And we were trying to figure out all week or all month who DT was, because they had a brand new Aston Martin DB9 convertible, and somebody finally figured out, oh yeah, it's Dan Towriss. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. He's the CEO of the presenting sponsor. But his parking space is literally with Doug Voles and Roger Penske. It's like those two are all in a row.
Pretty badass.
So in 2019, Towriss entered an agreement to become a sponsor at Ball State for football games, where the football field, it's Schumann Stadium, the Schumann Burger. Everybody remembers the Schumann Burger at Scotty's.
Different Schumann, though. I know the Schumann that the burger is named after.
Ball State lore.
So he's Gainbridge.
So Gainbridge is the company that is Dan Towriss's. So he's a Ball State graduate from 1994, and he's barely in Muncie anymore. Most of the time, he seems to be in Florida or in the Bahamas.
He's on a boat a lot.
But the Group 1001 has, as of the 2019 release, when he got his name slapped onto the football stadium, it's the kind of money that they're talking about here. The insurance company's holdings were $36 billion, Bones. Just in the insurance company side, and that was 5 years ago. So crazy deep pockets.
Well, here's my question. Like, Gainbridge, like, I didn't know that name, and all of a sudden it's Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and that's cool. It's a local company, like, all good. And apparently a Ball State alum, which I love. I feel like they're making insane investments into sports advertising.
So it started, this is where I wanted to go. It's like the butterfly effect of everybody's life changed. There's this really skinny little kid who is an IndyCar driver, wannabe IndyCar driver, named Zach Veach, and you guys can look him up if you want to. Zach Veach had one Indy 500 with like the women's golf tournament was his sponsor, and that's all he had. And I think that first money came because he had talked to his pastor, and he's like, "Do you know anybody that has money that can help me out with this?" And his pastor connected him with the CEO of Group 1001, and that got their feet wet. And he did the Indy 500 with them. And then the next year, they packaged it and said, "Hey, let's do like a 4-year deal." So Gainbridge came in and they did a 4-year deal tied to Zach Veach. And they said, okay, he's in the car, good to go. And then Dan Towriss started getting involved in motorsports. 2 years later, he's a sponsor of the Indy 500. 2 years after that, Zach Veach is yeeted out of the car. James Hinchcliffe is in the car for a little bit of a season. And then Colton Herta, whose father is an Indy 500 champion, had driven for David Letterman. Hertamania. He gets in the race car. Gainbridge now is winning races, and they're having such a fun time that Dan Towriss buys a portion of the team from Michael Andretti. Spin on a little longer. They then jump in and they've got the sponsorship for the Pacers Arena. And
I believe they have a personal services contract with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in on sports
Yeah.
and mostly Indiana focus.
I love that. I think that's awesome.
And then, yeah, as Zach said, over this winter, Michael Andretti somehow, without real explanation, jumped out of ownership of the team that has his name. And Dan Towriss now owns the Andretti team. And Dan Towriss and General Motors are said to have paid this $475 million entry fee to join Formula One to become the 11th constructor. And the team's going to be based here in Fishers, which is crazy. Like these teams are all based in Europe, Zach.
Yeah.
So the
A lot
fact
of
that
them
they're going to be
UK.
right here in Indiana is crazy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see it because I heard somebody say, well, it might have been Hinch and Rossi on their podcast that the team is at least partially going to be based in the United States because I think they all find out then eventually, and a lot of them actually is in the UK. Like there's a bunch of those teams that are kind of in and around Silverstone, and so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I am like so curious as to how things move so quickly after Michael's departure. He'd been very vocal and kind of very kind of arrogant American about the whole thing. Like, well, how could they turn us down? We're bringing GM, we're bringing this, we're bringing that. And they said, yeah, we could just do that anyway.
We want General Motors. We don't want
Yeah,
you.
they don't
That's
want
basically
you.
what they said. The message they sent multiple times.
And so,
And Michael had driven F1 and had a bad taste in his mouth in 91, 92, 93, somewhere in there.
McLaren.
For McLaren, it didn't go well. And he's always wanted to get himself back in.
I want him to be the team principal or something so bad. I just want him to come back. Just like sit out long enough to get the ink, all the ink on the paper.
Let the team come back to life.
Let's team come back and then just step back in and be like, because it seems like it was just get Michael out of the way and we'll let you in, or whatever negotiations went on behind. But literally, it was just what's changed. Michael stepped back. That's the only thing that changed. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how much the operation is run out of Indianapolis or out of the Fishers location. If they do go ahead and put Colton in the car, because they've reportedly been paying Colton Herta F1 money for like the last couple of years, so that he wouldn't be tempted away by another team. I've heard he's on the short list, but
What are they, like 20, 25 F1 races now? 5 of them are in North America now. We got 3 in the United States, Miami, Austin, and Las Vegas, which
and
is
it looked
last
like that
weekend.
Vegas race could use a bump because it didn't look great on what I saw over the weekend in terms of
Is there something going on there with like chaos? It just seems chaotic.
what the Las Vegas race.
Yeah.
It has to be run at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
local time because the roads are open during the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on a street race.
So I think they did move everything up a couple hours this year. I didn't watch it. Well, I wasn't gonna stay, but yeah, the race runs essentially like they're all running at like, track would normally be open normally from like 8 to 5. I think for them it's open from like, because there's a lot less car, but like 10 to 1 or something is when they're doing all the running. But also the crazy thing is the tickets are like $3,500, and not a lot of people can
It's the
afford that.
least fan-friendly event in North American sports.
And reportedly, I forget where I read that. Somebody was like, they said how depressing it was. He said once he got to his seats, it was good. But he said every restaurant, every whatever that had a view of the track, they covered the windows in plastic, unless those businesses were willing to pay up the money. And then if they did have a view, you might be getting charged like $300 just to sit in a restaurant or get a hotel room. It might be thousands if it had a view of the track. F1's very controlling.
You see the people just riding up and down the escalator.
Yes.
Yeah, they wouldn't stop you. I heard that was the
you
thing.
could stop. You
They-
stopped,
they-
you
they-
get ticketed.
They would let
But
you,
you had to keep going.
So people would just be like riding the elevator and doing stuff. So yeah, it's
Ride
like,
it up, ride it down, ride it
I
up,
think
ride
the-
it down.
Yeah.
The only other race I've ever heard that being a real big problem is Monaco. Like they talk about how much more expensive the hotels are on the back side of or on the front side where you can see the track, and then everywhere that you could possibly see the track, they have some way of controlling who's going in or out without tickets. So
It's such an unfan-friendly event that normally if you go to like any motorsports
it was
race,
great when it was in Indy though.
any motorsports race, you get a ticket to get you in the grounds, and then your ticket will also take you into your grandstand. The way this place is set up is that you get a ticket that brings you into your grandstand, and that's it.
And
You
that's
can't
it.
go anywhere else.
You can't wander. You can't like wander around on a practice day and see what's going on. It was a lot better, and I think it was one of the reasons why it hasn't ever come back to Indy. Indy refused to do that, and so I remember when we went, and this is still like 2007 or whatever. Weekend ticket was $75, and there was GA areas and stuff, and you could wander all over. And they had car crowds and stuff. I loved F1 at Indy. but it was very specifically the Holman George family saying, we're not going to run this like you want us to run it. We're going to pay out the sanctioning fee. We're not going to beg the government, and we're going to make it an affordable ticket for everybody, because they could sell 75 or 100,000 tickets, and no other venue on the F1 grid could sell 100,000 tickets
at that time.
Yeah,
Since then, Drive to Survive has happened, and the thing's blown up, and it's crazy.
So is Andretti's building open in Fishers?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. The F1 building is not. I think the race team is moving in this winter.
Because he still has his building there on Zionsville Road.
That building is going to be McLaren's IndyCar program.
Okay.
Imminently.
I drive by that twice a day too.
Yes, that building will be the IndyCar program in no time. Okay, you want to do this one?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, let's. That's it for sports, Betsy. We're gonna start with you for final thoughts and then work our way around, because there's a few topics you brought that we will just work into the conversation, and then we'll go to final thoughts after that.
Okay.
You wanted to talk about DOGE, I know, and you want to talk about the Megan Stoner podcast.
Oh, no, I haven't listened to it yet, but your cousin's obsessed with everything Megan Stoner. I swear, like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I introduced Mary to it. And it's like she's so about it, which who can't be anyway.
So, all right,
do you want to explain?
Megan Stoner? I'll do my very best. Megan Stoner was a 8 to 10 years ago was a GOP activist of sorts, who was, I'm saying,
Young
2000.
Woman.
Yeah, she was probably in her early 20s, 2011, 2012, 2014, 15, somewhere in that range. 2012 to 2016 probably is the most active time. Somebody that showed up at a lot of political events, would message people, try to network, and always just come off being a little weird. And I never really had a full conversation, but it was just one of those people that you look at and you go, there's something there, and I don't want to necessarily get into it. But in politics, very often you get almost, Zach, I'm going to say this, and you're going to go, oh, almost the weird Diego Morales vibe of just like, there's something weird there. I don't know. I can't explain what it is, but something's not adding up or not right. But they show up at everything, and they're involved with people, and you never really get an explanation of why the hell they're there. But that was this Megan Stoner girl.
Yeah, there's so much I want to say about that. But yeah, so she's like this young activist. She's like trying to network. She's in Young Republicans. She's also showing up to fundraisers, writing bad checks. She's just, she's
taking her picture taken with Governor Pence at the time, or Congressman Pence.
In fact, he
rubbed elbows with every politician in Indiana in the era.
Absolutely. And Pence actually had a body man who was supposed to prevent Megan from getting pictures with him. Like that was his job. And he messed up, but I think I knew who that was. Anyway, so she's just become this sort of legend because people started realizing she's kind of sketchy. She's kind of a pathological liar. Just weird stuff. And then she started running scams in Noblesville.
Especially run for Secretary of State or something.
Yeah. God. She started running these like housing scams in the last couple of years in Noblesville and Fishers, where she would take money and then the property didn't exist. Like, she screwed over a lot of people. Anyway, so she spent, I'm going to get this wrong, maybe a year in jail in Hamilton County
for fraud.
Yeah. And she's wronged a lot of people financially. Oh, she's also claims like, hey, I'm a teacher. She messages people on Facebook and says, hey, can you donate to my class list? But what's really funny is it's like her class list would be like Takis, chocolate.
What is a Taki?
It's a type of chip. It's like a hot chip.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like back when movies were silent.
Taki.
No,
it's a talkie.
No, okay. So stay with me. Like hot chips, junk food, really, really risque romantic novels for her elementary school classroom. And everyone's like,
"You can have a reading on Tuesday."
Oh my gosh, she's just. I can't even begin to tell this story. You should actually have Chloe Agnos or someone.
Pierce, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a podcast that's like a true crime around her.
Yeah,
that has been doing very well.
It's on a big platform. Like it's not just
Only Murders in the Building, the Megan Stoner edition.
kinda. And anyway, I started to listen to it late one night. I was like, I can't. This is going to make me stay up. But
There's a change.org petition to revoke her bond.
oh yeah, she's a threat to everybody. Like she cannot stop lying. She cannot stop conning.
She's facing
It's
9
fascinating to observe.
felony criminal fraud death charges.
And yeah, so anyway, so that's so why I bring it up is she's out on the streets. So we'll see what happens there. And you wanted me to talk about DOGE, or do you want?
Yeah, you wanted to. I'm just trying. Now I'm going back trying to see if I think her Facebook profile is gone because I know I had DMs.
Yeah.
And they are just.
Oh, she slid into your DMs.
Oh
Sure.
yeah,
Oh,
it happened to
nice.
everybody.
Copy and paste, like just hey,
I got it right here. It's like everything's like. Never mind. I'm not going to ask that question.
Bones, you're welcome to. It's your show
Nope.
too.
Nope. Not a chance.
You're not coming back. If we have to suspend you for a month, it's not like you're going to be here.
Does she have all her chromosomes? Ugh,
Like I
can't
said,
talk.
something felt just a little off.
Yeah.
um,
The picture here with her and Pence. I mean, Pence is obviously what he is, but she doesn't look.
but I'm gonna say this: she is remarkably intelligent and she's remarkably articulate.
A sharp swindler.
Yeah, you'd hear her talk and you're like, oh, this isn't a dummy. Like she's intelligent because, and that's how she manipulates people. She claimed her mom died multiple times, and people are like, your mom's fine. She's in Elwood. Like, what? Quit saying your mom.
Well,
well,
maybe the Klan just has her. We don't know.
yeah. That famous Arrested Development line. I'd rather be dead in California than alive in Arizona. So, anyway, so she's out on the streets. So, if you see somebody named
Stay
Megan
out of
Stoner,
Ellick and Elwood. That's what I would
stay away
advise.
from Megan Stoner. She's bad news. Bad news bears.
All right, so Doge, you are very excited. You are Lucy in the football here. Super excited about the new administration. They've put together the Department of Efficiency Department.
Yes, governmental efficiency.
This is Rimik Vemaswamy and Elon Musk.
Yeah, and so
The X department.
I think a lot of people know I currently serve on the Henry County Council for 6 more weeks. And our job in the county is to set the county's budgets and to make sure that we are, financially, we're responsible. Like we're the legislative fiscal body of the county. It's been an extremely hard lift the last couple of years to make our budgets in the black and do things like get cops paid better, more that they deserve, get our county employees paid better. You name it. Like we've had COVID beating down on us. We just, economic downturns, budget sessions, which take place over 2 weeks, in July and August. And we sit down with every single department head and go through their budget line by line, literally every freaking line. Like, oh, that's your line for paper. That's your line for this. And just, it's honestly a conversation where it's a trust exercise. Do you need that in your budget line? Because we want to flip that back to the general. No, I can do without it. I'll come ask if I need it. Like it has been a really
They don't all just throw their hands up and say you're trying to fire people and get crazy like in politics. Like in national politics.
No, I think at a local level we generally do pretty well and behave like responsible adults. But anyway, so we have had to kill ourselves to rub 2 nickels together to make things happen, to just balance the budget. And then you see the federal government, and I'm seeing, that they have no idea. We're massively in debt. What is it, 38 trillion now? The budget deficit is huge as well each year. If I understand correctly, our biggest expenditure as a country is it's our debt service. It's our credit card keys. Like to me, that makes me want to flip tables and set fires. That just makes me insane. Literally, that's the number one thing we fund in our country is our debt. So, by that logic and by the training and experience I have on the county council, I'm excited to see somebody go in with a scalpel and just start cutting. And I mean reasonably. I'm talking.
Unfortunately, Greg Pence couldn't get it done. So maybe Vivek can do it. What's got to go? What do you think's actually going to happen? Because I have so little faith in any of this stuff actually working.
I know
that I look at it and I'm just like, yep, okay, sure.
Okay,
What power do they actually have? It's Congress's job to set the budget. So help guide me through how I should be optimistic. Because I'm starting at no way in hell.
Because procedurally, it's a lot more complicated than they just go in.
Yeah.
Greg Pence said this to me at a Lincoln Day 2 years ago. I asked him, we were interviewing him, and I said, what would you do to get our country back on track financially? And he said, I would cut 20% of federal employees immediately. And you're seeing all these articles online about federal employees being like, oh my gosh, I have to go back to the office and work 5 days a week. And the private sector is like, yeah, welcome back. Like that's so sad for you. I think there's got to be so much bloat and overhead. And
so by forcing people to go back, you are just going to get people to voluntarily drop out.
Yeah.
Is the plan.
Yeah.
So by creating friction, you're going to say, okay, some of these folks are just going to just quit and go find something else to do.
Yeah.
And they won't have to have they're doing the same thing that Google has done of saying you've got to come back to the office.
Yeah. The whole tech sector really came, hard on that. I'm excited. So I don't have the answers. I just know that from my experience at the county level, they can print their own money and do whatever they want. We've had to fight for every tooth and nail, and we send money up to them and it really doesn't come back. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. But I like the idea of even having that conversation.
I'm highly skeptical.
I
think the money's just going to keep printing. Nothing will change.
Know.
And 4 years from now, when Trump 2 is over, the number is going to be 40 trillion.
Yeah.
Or whatever number.
Yeah.
If we're at 33 now, add 7 to 10 more to it.
Did he just nominate like Sam Bankman to be the Treasury?
No, he did not.
Oh, I thought that was next.
Well, it would probably, when they can't confirm as Treasury Secretary, that'll be next.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has to wait till he's in office to pardon the guy, and then he can give him a top end job.
It's coming.
Any thoughts, Zach?
It'll be interesting to see. I know, I work with a state agency that is affiliated with a federal agency, and that federal agency is at its lowest staffing level in 20 years and is struggling to get things done. And so it's really cute to say we're going to cut 20% of the workforce. But if you in a case of a social service, you cut a social service that people have paid into, in my case, out of their payroll taxes, they're going to expect things to work. And if it stops working because you cut a bunch of people, then there will be hell to pay. Those people will get angry.
Absolutely.
That's the conversation about whether you're using a scalpel or machete.
Yeah.
Right?
And when you're doing it with return to the office, I saw a stat and I don't know if it's true, that Department of Agriculture has an office that holds thousands and thousands of people. It was 17,000 people or 7,500 people. I can't remember. Just 600 show up to work every day. And they're like, yeah, we need to get those people. Why don't, and the thing was, get them back in the office, or don't have the office. Wouldn't it be more efficient to figure out if the remote work it could be a means of eliminating unused office space from the government's care?
Absolutely.
So
we did that at the county level. I mean, we've offloaded
the county has sold stuff. Mitch Daniels classically sold government properties. Why couldn't imagine how many office buildings the government owns in downtown DC?
Yeah.
Pretend like you took some buildings and just said the hell with it, turn them back into condos and sell them.
Oh man.
And then they start paying taxes in DC. They start paying taxes. Those are the kinds of things where you can say, okay, let's adapt, let's accept that, and then let's put things back to where they're actually paying in instead of a liability to government.
And Zach, to be clear, there's in my argument, maybe I sounded too flip, but I think there's a lot of nuance here. I don't want the veterans to not have VA, we got to put people first. But I just think, I think between attrition and just logical decision making, we can start to trim some of that fat.
The thing that I'm going to be interesting to see is I think that the one place that nobody ever wants to cut money from the federal budget because they don't want to get attacked for being unpatriotic is defense. And yet you see constantly that that's an area where money is literally just lost. They lose.
The Pentagon lost another $5 billion.
Yeah, they lose
That's
like
crazy.
they lose like billions of dollars a year, and so but nobody ever wants to touch them because if they do, even if it's justified and everything they're doing is appropriate, it's seen as anti-patriotic, and they're going after our veterans and our service people.
Right.
And it's like, no, you're going after some 4-star general who's making $200,000 a year and is living rent free in a house that the government subsidizes and is like funneling money into some project for a friend who's giving him a kickback
Well,
or something.
there's got to be accountability there. That's
Yeah.
the problem. There's no accountability. There's no face of it that has to answer for it.
If you want like a true down the middle fair assessment of where things are actually spent so you can understand for yourselves how the federal government's put together, what things are mandatory spends versus discretionary spends, things that are programs that are automatically in place, your Social Security, your Medicare, your VA, the things they're non-negotiables essentially for this country. Steve Ballmer, who's the owner of the Clippers, and he was I think the CEO of Microsoft,
Yep.
one of the richest guys in the
He's
world.
the business guy behind Microsoft.
He started his own money. He's trying to give away one of those guys that's giving away all his money. You go to YouTube and look up USA Facts. He hosts all of these videos himself, and it's literally just him nerding out with pie charts and graphs and current data all from this year, telling you exactly where spending is done in the United States. Immigration facts, but the U.S. budget as well. So if you want to really get into it and have a feeling of being able to watch the news and say, hey, when somebody rolls out a policy, you can kind of run it through that filter of watching it yourself. I found it to be very effective this year during the election cycle, but I couldn't rate that one highly enough. He's the kind of guy that I wish should actually run for office instead of the choices we get.
And do you find he plays it down the middle?
Yeah, it's straight down the middle. Like there's no agenda. It's just he's literally taking government data, dropping it into a spreadsheet, and reading it off. There's no agenda to it. It's just rich guy telling you what it is in a super simple way.
Rich, smart guy, yeah.
No matter what happens, he's still rich.
Yeah, he's fine. He's going to be okay.
That's awesome.
And I think he's your kind of guy, Betsy. He
I
literally
would love that.
He literally bought the Clippers, built them a new arena, all out of his own pocket, entirely about the fan experience.
Wow, and he didn't charge taxpayers?
No, it's just his money.
That's possible?
Yeah. He's
the guy that did it for the Los Angeles Rams. He built that stadium all on his own.
Well, he got the Chargers to move into.
Yeah. They pay what, $1?
It's a beautiful stadium, though.
Yeah. This dude's impressive. Like I wish Mitch Daniels had run for president. Steve Ballmer, I have no idea what party he would run in, but he's another one of those that is just the facts, true conversation. Somebody that I think is healthy for America to have a conversation. It's not talking heads.
We need smart people. We need smart people to lead. And there's a huge deficiency on both sides of the aisle at the federal level. So
he's the kind of dude that I wish they'd put in the cabinet, but we're not that lucky.
We got Dr. Oz.
I think he might be Zach's boss. Zach, final thoughts?
I have been chatting with Mr. Brim, and I've gotten the story about how this came to be. So the only part of that,
ask the jerk why he didn't text me back.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
So you tell your story.
So he interviewed somebody from AAA about actual travel facts, and that's the intro you see. That's all he has anything to do with. The actual list is all Fallon. It was an AI generated Mark Brim voice. Literally, the only thing he had was just here's Mark Brim talking about whatever travel tips, and then it cuts. And then somehow he said it must be like an affiliate thing. He said there are probably 24 networks in the country that are probably doing. Probably every network is doing here's the AAA travel tips, and they just picked Mark Brim.
They just took his
to be the one that they put on the show. And I was like, well, at least they didn't make you look like an idiot. It was funny, and the jokes I could actually see him delivering them. He's like, but it wasn't his voice. It was like an AI generated version of his voice. It was completely.
If they had asked Mark, he would have done it.
Oh, he probably would have done it. Yeah, he says pretty fun.
So did the network? I want to know if the TV channel today has come back with something from it. That's what we need to find is to see if Dakota News Now on their Facebook or YouTube or whatever has put anything out with Mark.
It's not even South. It's not even North. It's just Dakota.
Just all Dakotas. Yes. Dude, when he got hired over there, the best part was I went to the website and it's all poor networks. Like they are, like our CBS and Fox affiliates in Indianapolis now are the same people. They are the TV. Like it's it. I've been there. They have a Topgolf. It's
All right.
But one TV now.
You know you've made it when you got Topgolf.
but one TV channel. It
As
feels like
Topgolf's going out of business.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too expensive.
They don't realize how much it takes for capital.
well, they're building them all over the damn place, and they're getting competition now. There's a
Yeah.
Back 9 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sioux Falls, South Dakota is the town.
But they have IKEA. Is that IKEA supposed to be like they're always near IKEA's?
Yeah.
A lot of times, but there's one that's
How
one of those
close are we to
places-
the Badlands?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah, it's like it's like when you got into South Dakota is Sioux City and then Sioux Falls, and then you've got to drive like 5 hours across the state to get to the Badlands. Unbelievably far.
They're cool though.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 192,000 people, so a little smaller than Fort Wayne, essentially, is what it is. But it's the only thing in the area.
Only.
And Mark's house is probably 30 to 40 minutes east, so it'd be like living Greenfield from Indianapolis.
He's
and
east
then
of Sioux Falls.
He's east of Sioux Falls.
Is he like
Garrett's
Minnesota?
Garrett's in South Dakota. His kids go to 4-H in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
I see it right now on the map.
Yeah, if you Mark's farm is on a dirt road. I don't want to dox him too hard here, but he's on a dirt road that damn near goes. You turn left, you go into South Dakota. I'm pretty sure they are the last exit in South Dakota.
All right, I tracked them down just from that.
Yep, right there.
Yep,
you'll find them.
You gave too much away.
Listen, Mark's probably going to have 2, 3, 4 listeners show up, and he'll just feed them.
I told
that's
this.
what will
That's
If you guys gone to Jasper, you've gone too far. By the way, you need to turn around.
What's the town in South Dakota, in Minnesota there?
Jasper.
Jasper.
Yeah.
So when we visited, we left and we went to the Pipestone National Monument there, which is in Pipestone, Minnesota.
Yep.
Right,
Jasper,
right,
just south of it.
right across the way, and it's where you make your peace pipes. It's the official place. It's a national monument, so it's the same folks that do all of the national parks. You can get your passport stamped. But there are fields there where they literally have the pipestone quarries for Indians to make their peace pipes.
Well, that's cool.
And Mark has the exact same stones on his farm and a quarry. So I have pipestone, peace pipestone at
Is it protected
in my garage? No, because it came out of his field. But if I had gotten it out of the national monument, I would have had to have been an indigenous type.
That's cool though.
But if you want to whittle a pipestone, we can make one.
Go visit Mark. No, that's really cool. I'm glad that exists.
So yeah, that's incredible that we woke up this morning and Mark Brim is now a Category 5 superstar. It's what happened with Joey Molinaro 4 years ago at Thanksgiving. He did his Nick Saban in the closet, and the next thing you know, Joey's world famous.
Jeremiah
this
shared
Thanksgiving, it's Mark Brim.
I went to the Fallon Twitter page to make sure. I was like, this is real.
You didn't believe me this morning.
Well, I was just like, what are the chances?
I love Joey. When we were tailgating at that 500, and I was like, wait, that celebrity is just your friend. Like, I didn't know he was an indie guy and in your circle. He is so talented.
Yeah, that's
and he's good at going viral.
He's right up there with Betsy.
Other than that, next week, Christmas walk, Thursday downtown.
Are we doing a live show? We hooking it?
I'm available.
All right.
I'm out.
Bones says no. Bones says no.
Check out.
He's got packages to deliver.
If you haven't, check out downtown Newcastle. I mean, it's a good opportunity. Most of the business will be open, and there's more and more places to go and shop downtown.
The classic man on the street. So that means that next week's show we'll be on a Thursday again, but it'll be audio only. You'll probably get a Patreon. We'll see. And then you'll get an audio only man on the street episode. Bones is going to have to go back to listening to the show instead of being a part of the show.
Go back to subscribing.
Hey, we got
Did you
to
unsubscribe?
Yeah, because it's a little creepy to hear your voice on the radio.
I still download it and then I clear it.
Yeah,
honestly,
we got a big ribbon,
especially when your voice doesn't sound like what you hear, and it sounds completely different. It's like,
I
oh,
don't listen.
You don't think, man, that's a sexy guy that thinks a lot like me.
no.
I don't listen to episodes.
God, who is that
If
asshole?
I miss an episode, I'll listen to
unsettling.
it, but I don't listen to episodes on long. No.
We got the Hall of Fame ribbon cutting coming up.
The big expansion?
Yeah. So I voted to help fund that. I'm really excited. They're doing a lot more.
You're welcome. I helped pay for it.
Hey, we did it with food and beverage. So
I did it.
technically other people outside the county also paid for it.
Boy, do I feel better.
Yeah. And no, it's such a cool thing that we have and to expand it the way they're going to, it's just really awesome. So I'm excited for that.
Very good. Any other final thoughts that we've forgotten or missed here tonight, everybody?
Do you have final thoughts?
Man, what do I have? I was going to talk Christmas walk. We got it. Pour one out for a couple of dogs this week in the boss hog world. Dakota lost his dog, and so did Cade. So we had
lost two in like kind of rapid succession.
Great Danes and German Shepherds. Just Great Danes, man. They are incredible dogs, but they're there one day, and then the next they're just not around.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Every day they you don't know when it's the last one with the Great Dane. So yeah, that dog was Vitito's, Boss Hog alum Stephen Vitito, and then it moved into the Koger family and lived out its days, and then that was it. And then Dakota's OG dog, which was our studio dog, their German Shepherd was no longer around either. So
sorry, guys.
Time marches on. Love our pets, love our dogs, but now it's time to go puppy shopping, I guess. That's
or adopting.
Or adopt. Yeah, adopt, don't shop. Right?
Look, my family's done both, so I
order it on Amazon, and Bones will bring you a puppy for Christmas.
Will do.
I know a guy from my high school that literally had like this tiny Pomeranian like flown over from like Korea or something, and it was very, very dramatic, and they documented all of it, and it was just like
I once had a
this
goat
dog
flown
has
in from
outfits.
Arizona.
You once what?
I had a goat flown in from Arizona.
Why?
That's around to get the way around the judge's orders.
Family friend was a breeder of top end Nubian dairy goats, and we had the same breed. So they little kid goat. We brought him to the Phoenix airport, loaded him in a crate, air freighted him, picked him up in Indianapolis, and he lived with us. Had many babies. Now they've called the police on us.
Oh no, I've got a preview for whenever I come back next. I would like to bring a friend, and I have. She can tell a story that is so insane on its face about one of the most famous musicians of all time, and in Muncie, Indiana, unexpectedly. Anyway, yeah, it was you know that. Anyway, the story she told me, I was honestly really mad at her because I was like, "How did you not tell me this story before? Like this is the only story you should ever tell. It's so insane on its face." And anyway, so I was texting her and that she's willing to share that.
We're gonna get that story.
Oh, it's so good. I cackled hard. I've laughed. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Fantastic. All right, let's see if Indiana can beat Purdue this weekend and get the Oaken Bucket and make
29.
Make the playoff game. And I don't think they're going to host a game. I think they're going to have to go somewhere.
There you will have to go.
You're going to have to see like IU at Notre Dame, which is going to be heartbreak for some Hoosier fan. But somebody's going to make a big bowl game. Does it count as a bowl game if you just played a game at an extra game that's in the playoff? It's like that you're bowl eligible, but it's not a bowl. Is it a bowl game?
I wouldn't
feels
say
like feels like you're missing out on the Pinstripe Bowl.
Can we hypothetically they play at Notre Dame? Can't we call it like Touchdown Jesus Bowl?
I guess. What if IU's ever played up there?
I imagine.
It's the Pray.com Bowl.
Really?
Stingray Rob would be the grand marshal, flipping the coin. It would be kind of cool to see, and not that they don't play like every game. There's a big game, but to have like a nationally like game at Notre Dame, like at Notre Dame Stadium.
No, Notre Dame cannot host a game.
Why they can't?
Because, well, I guess they would. They wouldn't be able to have the first round bye.
Correct. Yeah, I think they're going to have the hosts are going to be the first four would be so seeds 1 through 4 will have a first round bye and not play at all.
Correct.
So you have to be seeded 5 through 8 to host the game.
Top 4 seeds. The top 4 seeds from the play
from each of the conferences. Yeah. So the teams 9, 10, 11, and 12 are going to go on the
I
right.
tried to look up the bracket earlier, and like it was like 6 images, and they were all different brackets as to who they thought were going to get in or not get in. Some of them were.
I'm
varied,
sorry,
so.
Clemson is probably out of that, and SMU is probably in.
I know it's chaotic, like it's
Now that they're
it's
in the
new,
ACC.
but it's nice that I think it's good that it expanded. Like it was always heartbreaking seeing, like, was it Florida State last year got totally screwed over? Like,
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody just on the outside, but
Look, you could send 64 teams and somebody's going to bitch.
oh, I know.
The important thing is that whoever the top 3 or 4 teams are going to make it in no matter what. Now, everybody else is just getting a puncher's chance to get in. This is according to USA Today. Their projected first round buys are Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and and Miami. So then your first 4 hosting games would probably be Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Tennessee as of right now. But all of these folks have got to play at least one more game, right?
Mhm.
And then the back end of it would be SMU, so Southern Methodist.
Yep.
Um,
Pony Express.
I just think of Larry Brown in the basketball. Didn't he play coach basketball at the end of his career at SMU again?
He did one part of his career.
Yes.
Somewhere at
SMU, IU, Boise State, and they're saying you're saying Clemson is probably on the outs.
I'm saying Clemson's probably out.
So
I don't think
Alabama
ACC
would be on in. It would be
Yes.
in. So Alabama or Ole Miss are both 8 and 3, somewhere in there. They are projecting Arizona State, which is the 16 team, and the Big 12 champion. So who knows? The bottom end, once again, there's going to be arguments over who should get in, who shouldn't, in that 11, 12, 13 range. That's hard to know, man. First round bye. I'm sorry. They're saying first round buys would be Oregon, Miami, Boise State, and Texas. Boise State being the conference champion or whatever game to buy. I don't know. That seems
yeah.
So yeah, Ohio State probably hosting it. Who knows? It'll be.
I bet the athletic directors though are chomping at the bit for the money that they'll make
all kinds of money
hosting a tournament.
I just want snow games. I just want apocalypse, terrible snow games with SMU or
Miami.
Georgia or Tennessee host. Going up to
The Miami
Notre
Hurricane.
Dame, Penn State, Ohio State. Just getting. I want an ice storm, 22 degrees. And just
You want to torture the Southern kids.
yes,
And
Yes, I
it'd be
do.
fun though is
I'm not mad about
if they like dig through and find the kids that turned down a scholarship to the one school to go play football for the other school specifically for the weather. Because
a lot of these kids are out of Texas and have never played in this stuff yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're out of
yeah.
Texas, South Florida. Yeah.
they get like one ice storm every 3 to 4 years.
Syracuse is the only team that has a dome. They're the only Northern Dome team. Everybody else, nobody plays football past November. So this is totally different.
That and just like
These stadiums,
the fact that there's a college with a dome,
I honestly think
or with an enclosed stadium is impressive because that's a lot of money.
some of
to
these
put a roof
places,
on it.
it's also their basketball arena,
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
around
wow.
forever.
the Carrier Dome, Carrier air conditioners. The man invented air conditioning, James Carrier. I wonder if some of these stadiums are built to have to be winterized when it gets that cold.
I bet
Like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway can't run in the wintertime. Can Notre Dame, can that stadium, can Ohio State Stadium, are they actually able to function if it's that cold?
Mm.
I don't know the answer to
Like
that,
they
or
have
if
to,
they're
like-
having to make rapid modifications to host a
or
stadium.
like
Host a cold
de-winterize
weather
it for
game.
the game.
Yeah.
And then I hope it's like there's enough water flowing. Just leave stuff trickling for the game, and as soon as it's done, try to re-winterize
Predicting a
everything.
poop bowl right now. Something's going to go horribly wrong. Pipes are going to freeze.
Yeah.
It's going to look like the Washington Commanders Stadium. That's our deal. We're Poop Bowl 2025. All right. Thank you guys so very much. We'll be back next week. No video next week. We're doing the Christmas walk.